In this video, we'll take a look at the gauge element of Vision. I'll add the gauge from the Insert tab and move it over here. When adding your data fields, you may notice that the layout of the data sections is a bit different to other elements you may have used. We'll address that later. I'll add my data and a series value to split the data into different gauges. Gauges can be used to compare two datasets against each other. To show you this, I'll move the sales this month and sales last month's fields over, so the difference between them is displayed. If you want to change how the relationship is defined, click this button next to the data item. We can change the value type between actual value, an absolute variation, a percentage variation, and a percent of target. I'll leave it to absolute so that we get the actual number. Now I can change how the indication of the result is displayed. I'll change it to warning if greater. However, I could also change it to less is good. Let's cover the sorting. We can sort by any of these fields that appear on the dashboard, and we can switch between ascending and descending order. If we want to sort by a field which is not featured here, we will have to add a hidden data measure. If I drag category over to the measure slot, you'll see that it has been added to the sort list. Now we'll move on to the Data tab. I can edit the filter from this element by right-clicking on it, or by selecting Edit Filter from the Data tab. You can edit filter options that will apply to this element only. You will notice that the options for editing filters are based off the data inside the dashboard element. If we want to filter by an item not found on the dashboard, we will have to add a hidden data item. I'll drag the Sales Yesterday field over to the hidden data item slot. If I return to the filter editor, you'll see that this has now been added to the field list. I'll clear this filter and we'll move on to master filters. With gauges, the only thing we can filter by is series, so when I select the master filtering button and click on a series element, the other dashboard elements will be filtered by series. If we want to do this with data from separate data sources, click the Cross Data Source Filtering button, then set your filter to have your filter span different data sources. You can use the Ignore Master Filter button to tag an element as exempt from any active master filters on the dashboard. Let's move on to drill down. Like filtering, there is only one option to drill down on, series. Drill down will only work with gauges if you have multiple fields in series slots, otherwise there is nothing to drill down on. I'll move Sales Today over to the additional series. You'll see that if I double click on series item, I will drill down into it. Finally, we'll cover layout and style. By default, multiple series gauges will be set to auto-arrange. However, you can edit the layout of these by adjusting the row and column options. You can also change the appearance of the gauge. Some layout options are accessible from the right-click menu, where you can change the caption visibility and the names that appear. From this menu you can also print or export your dashboard. And there you go, you should now have a better understanding of the gauge element.